Hello ladies and gentlemen, now today I am going to talk to you about the Roman Greek tunic. Now you guys might wonder, what's the Roman Greek tunic? Well, it was a type of tunic that was used around the Mediterranean. In fact, technically, this type of tunic was used by the Carthaginians, the Iberians, even, you might say, Egyptians. I don't know much about if Egyptians would have worn it, but technically this was seen all around the Mediterranean. So technically for me, I don't call it a Roman Greek tunic, I call it a Mediterranean tunic, but people, when they type up nowadays, they just type up how to make Greek tunic or make Roman tunic, and you get the point. But this is a how-to video on how to make a Roman Greek tunic. Well, Mediterranean tunic, let me just put it like that. It's harder for me. But anyways, now what I'm going to be using is going to be technically, well, it's just going to be a form of white colorization, because technically back then that's how they made them. They didn't color dye them until later on, and actually a legionnaire had to pay for his own equipment, even his own tunic and stuff, and technically he worried about more of weaponry than weapons and armor than he had to worry about his clothes. So you get the point. But now you guys might want to know on how is this going to be made? Are there going to be any like modern day shirts? Do we have the sleeve? Actually no, those are reproductions that are inaccurate. Like a LARP game, I guess you might say. The historical tunics, on the other hand, are actually what you might, because see, if it's unbelted, which means if it doesn't have a belt on, you get the point, it would technically just hang right down, all the way down to your knees, because that's historically accurate. Now, Jimmy Hall, I know that you're from Greece, because technically this actually gave me a good idea, because I haven't done this one yet, and it's been a while since I have done a how-to video. And as well, I did see your comment. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to comment on that one. Sorry about that, because the comments weren't working on my end. Don't know why, but I guess there was a problem on YouTube that they didn't fix or whatever. I don't know if it's even still working. It's going to be a while. Which I have heard that's actually happened to some viewers as well, so it's been a pain, you know the point. Anyways, now how to make a Greek Roman tunic. Well, what you must do first is get like a sheet, I guess you might say, like technically any type of sheet, like from a fabric store or whatever. Now sometimes we see them folded up like in a rectangular form with a cardboard in between. If you do find something like that, like you might find at Walmart, what you could do is, like, say, like, if you, like, pulled it, for example, like, say, pulled the sheet of the opening from the folded piece and this unfolds that way, like, plops out in a couple of ways, then what you do is you, like, which I got the tunic right here. Yeah, I already made it, sorry. Wasn't able to get the angling right on the other one, but you get the point. But, see, now, here's what I did. Say, for example, this is the rectangular sheet. Now see, if it's folded like this, like hot dog style, and it then unfolds like that, what you're going to do is then untwirl it like that way. In doing so, you can actually measure up towards your arms. That actually works very well, actually. Because technically it works for both arms. Now, after doing this, you then actually, have to have it measured down towards your knees. Sometimes, though, it works best to go down below the knees. The reason I'm wearing my pajama pants or my comfy pants, because technically I'm around the house and stuff. And technically, you'll find out later on. But now, here's the thing about this Greek tunic, Greek Roman, I should just keep saying Mediterranean. Anyways, they kept it this way because, ladies and gentlemen, if you lived around Rome, Greece, Carthage, or any at the time during their Bronze Age, Iron Age, or whatever, you know how hot it was down there? Extremely hot during the summers, in which this type of idea was invented. Now, they technically kept this up from the Neolithic Age, late Neolithic Age, they say, in which it actually worked. In fact, even Spartans did this. But during the winters, though, they color dyed them in order to keep them, well, warmer. Because technically with color, now if this has actually ever happened to you guys, like you're out in the hot sun wearing a red shirt or whatever, and it's hotter than you wearing, and you get hotter and start sweating a little bit more than you wearing a regular white one. That's because of the dye. Because due to color dye, we get that problem. But as well, another thing about this is when you're to sew this thing, like in the arms, you're only supposed to sew it halfway up. In other words, from the bottom end, only sew it halfway. In other words, I gotta leave a big armpit opening right in here. Though still, you kind of get the point on, because technically it's, I guess you might call it an air bag or whatever, an air pocket, which when the hot breeze goes in, it still cools me down. Though, technically, you're supposed to actually be shirtless when wearing this tunic, though I'm not going to do that on the rest of the world to see. But you get the point. Now, though, the thing about this is because, though technically you're also supposed to cut a shirt length, your head length in there, like just fold it like that, and pretty much just cut out a circle for your head. Though you don't want to make it too big, otherwise it's going to be out. Because mine, it just reached out, so it's just part of the bone. Though some state that's been like somewhere like that, so yeah. Though this color styles stayed in the Roman military for a very long time, from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age, and technically, though, I don't see in the late Roman age, because those longer sleeve tunics got different, because technically the Romans adopted different things, and you get the point. Though, actually, you can wear this underneath your lorica hamata or lorica cimentata, in which works perfectly. But I'm not going to color dye this because I want to keep it this way originally, because I have seen reenactors historically make these correctly. In fact, I knew a guy once, but unfortunately he died way back in 2009, if I remember correctly. And he died of what you might call a cancer disease. I don't know, I can't remember which form of cancer it was, but he pretty much died. You get the point. Though he loved reenacting so much, that's why pretty much he couldn't stop. I used to do reenacting, but unfortunately I'm not about to endure the ringing in the head anymore. It hurt. But I think I'll do that for another time. Anyways. Now, let me just put this on. Now you guys are probably wondering, how the heck did I mark it on which side is which? Well, technically that's the hard part. Yeah, I know. But technically, you can also do what they call decorationing on the tunic. Decorationing meaning you could put like red lines or whatever. But technically that's more meant for stage prop. Now, as you can tell, it looks stupid on me right now. But let me just put on a belt. In fact, I even hear that women actually had their dresses made this way. The same way, but technically they had their arms, the arm pieces stitched inward. So that might be it. And now, as you can tell, I am wearing a Roman tunic. As you can tell, it actually works very well. In fact, as you can tell, there's that arm pocket I told you about. In fact, with a hot breeze going in there, it still would cool me down. In fact, the Romans wore these a lot, actually. In fact, we also see a couple of films and stuff, we also see the shirt sometimes go over the belt. Well, that's because they move their arms up and stuff like that. Like, in which technically gets like that. But still, this is how a historical manifest of the Roman tunic. Which I know it's kind of weird that they made it this way, but it works, actually. Plus, soon I am going to try getting myself a lorica cimentata or lorica hamata, and pretty much for other forms of Roman armor, and hopefully try and reproduce the rest of it. But now, after this one is going to be, no, I don't know if many of you guys are toga party people, but I am going to show you on how to put a toga on with this tunic. In fact, you guys might even wear this for your next, yeah. I'm not about to go and touch that thing with a 1,000-foot pole, though, but you don't see me doing the toga party. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, please like this page if you want to like it. Please comment down below if you can, because I said about the comments that there might be problems with it. But you might like it just to be helpful, you know, like, because sometimes if that happens to you, let me know. Also, wait. That's quite a conundrum. That's a tough one to get through. Anyways, you get the point. But also, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe. That helps out any way you can. Always remember, my friends, always remember to keep your swords unsheathed. Danke.